See, the right to education is internationally and globally across the world recognized to bring about changes in the world and among individuals. This has been long said by UN way back in 2017. Therefore, it's a right not only of those who can afford to pay for a good education, but by anyone, regardless of the language or religion, whatever the color of the skin and circumstances of birth or social origin, ethnicities, indigenous people, notwithstanding opinions, political inclinations, affiliations, economic conditions. The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO in December 1960 sponsored the Convention Against Discrimination in Education purposefully to eliminate and prevent discrimination in education. Now, the question is that of the refugees. Now, when the refugees are of many types and come into being due to many circumstances, some are climate refugees, some are war refugees due to war-ridden areas who have to leave their areas for safety. And there are many instabilities going on in the world. Afghanistan is the recent example, and Myanmar, is the example. Tibetan is a long pending issue. Tamil, Sri Lankans. There are so many refugees spread across the length and breadth of the world, especially in India, wherein we host Tibetans. There are Myanmar people as well, the Rohingya, Muslims. There are Afghans as well. There are Tamil Sri Lankans as well. There are n number of, including some African refugees. Many refugees are there. So the question is, does the right to education apply to these communities as well? Since in the declaration it has been said that it applies to all, irrespective of their location, ethnicity, affiliation, economic group, blah blah blah. The question is that, are the states bound therefore to provide education under the right to education to refugees as well? Yes, they are. This is a humanitarian question. There are people from Afghanistan who had to leave when the Taliban 2.0 took over. Tibetans are here from 1959. Therefore, the states are ethically, morally, and on humanitarian grounds bound to provide education, especially to the younger generations who are born here or who, came to our place, our country, when they were infants, when they were just children. We cannot, divide them on, certain religious, ethnic affiliations. These children are equally the global responsibility. These are a humanitarian responsibility, rather, that every country needs to take very ethically and very responsibly. Therefore, such children should not face any educational problems or problems of access to the education, and should be provided education. Especially if we have to make this issue more academic, there must be research that must go on refugee children and education today. There are many students I know who have initiated researches on refugees, but my advice to them would be to do comparative studies of refugees who are living, for example, in India or in Asia for that matter, and to do studies based on the elementary education of refugee children, because they are the most fate-bitten stock who really don't know what happened to their countries or what is the problem their actual places of birth or their domestic countries are facing, and they are here because they don't know why they are here. Therefore, their education is a priority and should be a priority, and civil society must come forward in this initiative that no refugee children should be left as far as right to education is concerned. And this is the responsibility of all big universities to collaborate on this thing, to provide education to such children and to accommodate the students, scholars of these origins, so that we can really define education as inclusive and irrespective of the labels of richness and poverty, and irrespective of the ethnicities, religion and other identities. Especially researches in refugee arena are very scarce. That must be initiated now, that must be started by the scholars who should be working in these areas with all seriousness. Works should be going on in such arenas. Thank you.